What's up YouTube, Webbers5 here coming at you today with a Pokemon deck update of my Lost Box Goodra Turbo. So for some who've seen some of my other videos on my channel or checked the descriptions of my channel, you know one of my Pokemon decks is my Lost Box deck, and I focus on Goodra because I really like it after somebody used it on me in a Pokemon tournament. So I decided to give that a try when I wanted to go into playing Lost Box. So I've been testing around with lots of different builds, and I've seen more recently that people are opting into playing like their Lost Box in turbo variants, and frankly I really like it, but so I just tried to figure out, can I make it work with Goodra? And I did, so this is the result. So without further ado guys, let's get into the profile. Okay guys, so starting the profile off with my Pokemon lineup. So starting with the obvious Lost Box engine, so four Comfey, naturally for the flower selecting to set yourself up with the Lost Zone. 1 Cramorant for once you get to 4. 1 Sableye for when you get to 10 if you need it. 1 Radiant Greninja for draw power, and because naturally Goodra uses water energy, does give you the option to attack with that Moonlight Shuriken to bench snipe. 1 Manaphy, naturally for any mirror, or a situation where your opponent is playing the Greninja as an attacker, just so they don't bench snipe you. 1 Iron Bundle just for the Hyper Blow to gust up something. Yes, it's my opponent's choice, but I'm finding guys in the Turbo variant you don't really have space for things like Boss's Orders, so it's just a way to, you know, as I said, gust. And then 1 Raikou V. So threw this in because I just kind of wanted it as a secondary, as like the secondary attacker, and frankly guys, it's rather annoying that with the rotation, Suicune got rotated out, so I don't have like the easy water version of using it, which is, I'm not gonna lie, really annoys me. Suicune is the only one of the dogs that got rotated out and the other 2 survived, which I feel is really stupid, but I have to move on. Get over it. But yeah, so far I'm quite liking the addition of the Raikou, and I've also found playing a 4 different energy count hasn't actually been so bad. And then naturally the last in the Pokemon lineup as the main thing of focus of the deck, 2 Goodra and the 2 Goodra V-Star. So Goodra is naturally really good for its rolling attacks. So as Goodra V, Rolling Shell does 140, and then you take 30 less damage off your opponent's next attack. So that basically puts it at 250 HP if you do one attack with it, which is really useful. And then the V-Star does the same thing for 200 damage, and then you take 80 less damage. So that's essentially, you'll see, if it's a fully healed Hisuian Goodra V-Star that's in the active, after you do your first attack of the Rolling Shell, 200, and then you're basically sitting at, sorry, let me do quick math, like 350 HP, which is really difficult to get around. And if your opponent's, and basically the advantage of Goodra V-Star is it's V-Star power of Moisture Star, so even if your opponent's spending a lot, realize they're in the position of like, okay, I'm just gonna have to whittle away at that Goodra to get it into knockout range. Once you realize it's in the position of knockout range, you've just got your option of the Moisture Star to just heal all that damage off and essentially waste your opponent's time. Essentially, your opponent's just wasted all that time trying to do that. Next in my supporter lineup, so guys, it's Lost Box, and because I'm on the Turbo variant, the only supporter I'm playing is the 4 copies of Colress. So naturally, Colress, check the top 5 of your deck, put 3 of them into your hand, 2 into the Lost Zone. Pretty much the main thing of Lost Zone acceleration. Only supporter I'm playing, and the only supporter I need. Continuing on into the item cards. So continuing with the Lost Box styled cards. So 4 copies of Mirage Gate, naturally as your energy acceleration once you get to 7 in the Lost Zone, to make it easier to make this easier to attack with like things like Goodra and Raikou, or the Greninja. And 2 Lost Vacuum, just for putting as an option to put things like, say, Hero's Cape, which is starting to be played a lot more into the Lost Zone if you're trying to take out something that's really tanky. Playing it at 2 because typically in the Turbo variant you will play it at 2 because you need to be able to see the Lost Vacuum to get to yourself as the own. It's basically the only way that now we can get to 7 into the Lost Zone on the first turn. That is by chaining. So to get to the 7 on the first turn, you have to go the 3 Comfey, 1 Chorus Experiment, 3 Comfey, 1 Chorus Experiment can get you to 5, and then with the Lost, then if you could do a Lost Vacuum on your own stadium, puts you at 7. Next, pivot cards so that we can chain the Comfeys. So I'm playing 4 copies of Switch Cart, 1 of the regular Switch, and my ace spec of choice, Prime Catcher. So naturally, Switch Cart, easiest way to chain Comfeys. Also gives you that healing option as well, so good for healing things like Raikou if it gets damaged, or Goodra V. Prime Catcher just as a way to like both pivot so you can chain Comfeys or set up an attacker, and also just to add sense naturally because Chorus is the main, as I said, Chorus is the main supporter you want to be playing, so you don't really have the time for boss, so this is just your only real way of like of choosing something on your opponent's bench that you want to knock out straight from that position. And then also throw in the 1 copy of Switch, simply, even though we've got the Switch card which can do chain things like, which can switch out pretty much most of your Pokemon. Naturally, Switch card only works on basics, so if say you're in the position, just in a random position that maybe you've got Goodra V-Star and you want to get that out the active without using energy, you could just use the Switch to get it out. But naturally, which typically doesn't come up too frequently because typically I find you're only going to put the Goodra V-Star directly into play once you've got the Mirage Gate set up so that you can attack with it. Otherwise, it's just a bit of a liability sitting on your bench until it can attack. Next, I suppose you'd call these supporter-based item cards. So playing 2 Pokegear, 1 Pal Pad. Naturally, Pokegear as a way to dig for the Chorus Experiment, and then the Pal Pad to recover the Chorus Experiment if you need to use it later. Next, Pokemon Searchers. So I'm playing 2 Buddy Buddy Puffin for easy setup at the Comfeys. The reason I'm not playing 4 is because naturally, typically in this variant, you're just going to try and get it. You just want it early so you can go set up your Comfeys. After that, you're really not going to use it. So then it's just kind of dead cards if you hit it, draw into them. 2 Nest Ball, naturally just your way of getting into like the Goodra, the Raikou, Radiant Greninja. Oh, sorry, missed one. 3 Nest Ball. Again, for those reasons. To get into your, search out your attackers because their natural HP is too high for the Buddy Puffin. And then 1 copy of Hisuian Heavy Ball just in case one of them is in your just an easy way to grab one of them if they're out in the prizes. Then last item card, playing 4 copies of Super Rod, primarily just for the energy recovery, so that you can chain your Mirage Gates. But occasionally you might want to use it if you want to say bring back an attacker, like say the Raikou, or say maybe you had to lose the Sableye early. Playing 3 tool cards, so playing 1 Forest Seal Stone, 2 Rescue Board. So Rescue Board, just easy, gives you like another way of pivoting out Comfeys to chain them up early game. Then Forest Seal Stone, as much as I like Goodra's V-Star power, sometimes in the early game, you might just need this to grab an additional piece that you need for setting up. But then if you're in the position like you don't need the thing to set up, or say maybe you had to unfortunately Lost Zone either Raikou or the Forest, like say the Raikou or the Forest Seal Stone, then you could just go. Then actually you've got the Moisture Star as a backup option. And then last in the trainer cards, my stadium of choice, two copies of Pokestop. So essentially, this is the main thing of what makes it what makes the Lost Box turbo. Because as you guys just saw, you play so many item cards. It's really easy to just hit them off Pokestop. And naturally, with the Pokestop, if you get rid of Pokemon or energy, doesn't matter because you probably hit into the Super Rod. If you get rid of like a Colrus, you've got the Palpad. So it's pretty much just in this variant, this is pretty much just no downside to this thing. And then finally going into my energy count. So I'm actually playing a bit. So because of how I've built my version, I'm actually playing a bit more energy than most builds. So playing 5 water, 2 lightning, 2 psychic, and 3 metal. So naturally, playing 5 water, because if you want to do a Greninja, you need 2 for a Greninja attack. You need 1 for, and naturally you need 1 for a Goodra. If I was in the position of, because quite often there are positions that I do want to go for that snipe with Greninja, so decided to up the water count. 2 lightning, because the only Pokemon that naturally the only Pokemon in my deck that needs lightning specifically is the Raikou, and naturally I only play 1 of that, so essentially 1 to attack, 1 as a backup in case by some chance I have to get rid of the lightning. If I'm in the position, like say I have to get rid of a lightning, I'd just rather have 1 as a backup. 2 psychic. The only primary attacker that uses that again is the Sableye, so basically same concept as the lightning. Just want to have 1 of that. And then 3 metal. Goodra needs 1 metal to attack, so if I've got two Goodras, so 2 for that, and then 1 as a backup. Okay guys, so that was my Lost Box Goodra Turbo list. Hope you all enjoyed it. If you liked it, leave a comment down below on what you thought about it. And if anyone's got any suggestions of improvements or questions of why I'm playing certain things, just leave that down below as well. Thank you so much for watching guys, and I will see you next time.